I'm going to show you all the basic gear you need to start bass fishing. First off, you got to have your rod and reels. For you beginners, you ain't ever fished before, this is going to be the easiest one. It's your old close-faced spinning reel. The Zebcos, they've been around forever. This is real easy to use, no problem. Just throw the button, cast it. If you catch a big bass on this, you're going to be in trouble. This will be better for your crappie and your bluegill and stuff like that. You want to advance up from there, you're going to go to the old Bailcast spinning reel. This is not that hard to use. You can catch a lot of fish on this one right here. And then when you advance from there, you're going to go to the old bait casting reel. Now this is what all your bass guys use right here. But you got to be careful when you're throwing this one. When you toss this one, as soon as it hits that water, you got to stop it, because that reel's going to keep going, hit a backlash, make a bird nest, and you're going to have a real mess. But this is what you're going to do when you get good at your bass fishing. You get a reel, the line that's going to be on it is going to be cheap. Make sure you go buy some good line to put on that reel. And the line you're going to want to use, I would at least start at a 10-pound test all the way up to 17-pound test. And when you need to cut the line after tying, instead of using scissors or a knife, you don't want to use a knife, because if you're like old duck bass, you're going to have an accident. Don't use a knife. Use these snips right here. Real convenient. You can snip that onto your tackle box, and they're really handy when you're out there fishing. If you're fishing out there and it's sunny, don't forget a good pair of sunglasses. This is some of the other gear you're going to need. Make sure you got your pliers, because if that fish gets that hook too deep into them, you're not going to be able to get it out with your hands. You're going to need some pliers. You got these too, this top pliers here. I had to use these. If you're like old duck bass and you get that hook in your finger, you're going to need to snip that barb off, pull it back through, put a Band-Aid on, and keep fishing. And of course, if you get a good one, you're going to want to weigh it. Always have you a good pair of scales so you can weigh that fish and brag about them. You got to have the lures. Soft plastics, bandito bug, the old culprit, worm. Always make sure you got your good hook for them. And make sure you got some good worm weights for that. The old reliable spinnerbait, good year-round. Crankbaits, always good, year-round. You can fish this lure anytime. Popper baits, these are always good. It's always best to use these early in the morning, late in the evening, anytime you're fishing. The old frog's good for anything. You can catch some really nice bass on it. And it's not only good for anything, but it's also good to eat. And once you get all this gear acquired, you're going to need a good tackle box. This is a good one right here. You got your side pockets, and it comes with all these tackle boxes. You can put all your different type lures in. Oh yeah, I forgot one more. Little old finesse lure. Whenever they're not biting all the other lures, use this one on them old finicky bass. I only showed you a few lures on this video. If you'd like to see more lures that the duck bass uses, tap the video on your screen. What are you waiting on? Tap it. You want to learn how to fish?